this, her, is my co-host, that's Janet from another planet. And
Hello.
she has finally got her gear up and running. I must thank Mr. G Rock, Baron G Rock, and others. Janet, who is the lady in the icon in your lower left?
She is the lady that created this whole, what do you call it, filter that I'm using as my character for Janet from Another Planet. She created the eyes and the sparkles and the glasses for me.
This is the first time we've seen it since you've started this.
Mm-hmm.
It looks great.
Well, I use it, for you, for live. Yeah. It's the first time I've gotten to do it. But I've done it, this is what I use for my most of my videos is this app or this persona.
True.
So
Well, today, or tonight, we are reviewing and discussing the 1994 classic Leon. In 1994, it did not get the release that it got in Europe, so they made changes to it, and we had a different movie. I was daring. I wanted to see Leon, and I want to look at it from a 47-year-old man's point of view. Janet's never seen it. Perfect idea. Let's watch it. So we did. And this is a different movie than what I'm used to. I've seen the other film about 40 times. Leon the Professional, I've only seen bits and pieces of, which there's about 20 added minutes. Janet, what did you think about this?
Well, I enjoyed this movie, and if I'd known there was two versions of it, I would have tried to watch the other version. I didn't know there was a different one. I mean, I missed out, I guess. But the version I got to watch was the American version, and I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. I was shocked that I hadn't seen it before because I love Gary Oldman.
So the American version, there's a point break in the movie where it stops. Basically, he buys her a white dress and says, "I've bought you a dress." And he cares for her. He's just mentally slow. Whenever there's any sort of fencing going on between those two, Natalie Portman's character, the 12-year-old girl, is in charge. You'll see it. There's no way to really look around it. This movie will give a lot of mates of mine in America Roman Polanski vibes if they watch the European version.
Mm-hmm.
The American version stops that play at the white dress. There's another portion that you see where they're dressing up as Marilyn Monroe, John Wayne. You see that. Innocent fun. He squirts her with a lemon bottle. That's about it.
Well, he chases her around the house, and they, and they're screaming and hiding, and he's squirting her with water. But the dress that I remember him getting her wasn't white; it was pink.
Pink, my bad.
Pink lacy dress. So it looks very girly, a little girly. Yeah, with big flowers and stuff on it. Very gaudy, but very girly, like a young girl would wear, not a grown woman. So to me, it never came across to me, I guess I'm very naive, that anyone would look at it as he was some kind of perv, looking for something from her. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so. He doesn't come across as a pervert. He comes across as somebody who's mentally vulnerable and young. Hey, Shadow and Sun, and Emperor, and Jackie Blue, everybody else here. Thank you. Yeah, he's like mentally slow. Whatever happened to him with that first girlfriend he had that the European version talks about, which you might have watched the European version. The American version doesn't have them do a run together where they go to a few houses and they knock on doors and they break people. They get the people to open a door. He bolt cutters the chains, and then they enter B&E, and then they get their target achieved. There's that.
I didn't see anything like that in this one, the version I watched.
This is a interesting film from both sides. I just watched the European version last night. I have the American version that I watched last week because it's on DVD.
Mm-hmm.
Hard media, kids. It's going to go away very quickly.
Yeah,
So,
you better buy the movies you want now before they change all of the ones on DVD anyways, because I know for a fact that they've been changing all the Disney movies. So, if you don't have those old movies, you're going to have the newest updated ones with all the weird stuff in it. But yeah, the movie, I really was shocked at some of the twists and turns in it, about the leaps that they took in this movie compared to what you would see today if they had made this movie. So I was impressed with it. I thought the character arcs were phenomenal for him and for Natalie's part. Not Natalie, but is it Natalie?
Natalie Portman.
Yeah, Natalie Portman. Okay, because I was thinking I don't know why I was thinking of some other person's name, but because of the Natalie Wood movie that we had done before. But the character arcs for both of those characters were really good, and I was really shocked when I found out Gary Oldman who he really was in the movie portraying. From what I saw him at the very beginning.
We were doing our job.
So I was really surprised because I wasn't expecting it at all. So there was a lot of twists and turns for me because I don't like to look it up and read about it and stuff like that before, especially if it's something I haven't seen, because I want a fresh vision of it so that it keeps me from, I don't know, jumping to conclusions already knowing it, so I don't respond the way I would if I went to the movie theater and saw it. So that's what I was hoping, and it was good. I really enjoyed it. I felt really bad for her, but it really made me think about all the kids in her position, the little latchkey kids. So where do you want to start? Because I'm afraid, you know how I am. I start talking and I'll start jumping all over the place. I'll go from one scene to another simply on my emotions for how it affected me, type of thing.
Sure. Well, the beginning segment, you just see Aiello and Jean Reno in a glass of milk. He shows him a photograph and gives him a time to be at a place. And Jean Reno drinks the milk and he sets down the empty glass, and that's it. I thought it was great watching that in the theater. Now, I saw the American version for like 40 times. My bad.
Wow.
Sorry. I saw the sanitized version about 40 times. So watching this yesterday, they didn't really change much up until the Act 2. And the young pretty girl was at one time, it was Luc Besson's fiance, and he cast her in this movie at the age of 18.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We won't go into that too much, but this is France. I'm going to say it's France, okay? And
see, the whole time I'm watching, I was thinking it was New York City.
most of it is filmed in France. They filmed parts of it in Little Italy to give it continuity.
Mm-hmm.
And then they did a lot of filming in France because it was just easier for him to achieve the shots he wanted to. They did a few Central Park scenes. They did a few Little Italy. They did a few. You can tell the obvious places. You can tell,
Mm-hmm.
but the apartment building, I don't fucking care. God damn it! Of course you do this shit.
Well, for me, I didn't read anything about it or watch the trailer like I normally would, but from after he was walking around looking for his target for his first kill at the beginning of the movie, I just assumed it was New York City. The whole way it was set up.
It's set up to look like New York City, and that's where it's supposed to take place. But
Well, it worked for me.
Lady, there's a cute little old lady that comes out in one scene where she's like, "Will you leave those people alone?" And Gary Oldman, cigarette dangling out of his mouth. The man said, "Go inside," and he blows away the glass on the door behind her. And she slowly pivots.
And she doesn't even flinch, basically. Like, she's so used to gunfire criminals. I thought that
Exactly.
was funny, that aspect of it. But to me, I was surprised too was, okay, this is gonna sound stupid, but I was really shocked how big the hallway was
Yes.
because, I have been in quite a few older apartments, buildings in, like, Boston and New York and a couple, not in Chicago, but I'm sure it can't be that much different, and man, the hallways are not big. That looked like a commissary, hallway to me. So that kinda threw me off a little bit because I was, looking at it to critique it. So to me, it seemed more like they were on a set for the hallway for the apartment. Now, when they were in the apartment, the actual apartment, when they were chasing the kids, the
Yes.
little boy and stuff, that seemed like it was, very realistic to me inside of an apartment.
The way the
So
bullet sprays happened, that had to take place in an apartment just for the way they did it. Otherwise, they would have had a hard time gritting it and making it fit. That's just my own personal opinion. I'm not a range safety officer or nothing, but
but the scene before the shooting part, before they came in and took care of everyone, I
yes,
was, a little surprised because I thought the wife or the girlfriend or whatever was very, very pretty and, built like a brick
really.
house, okay, and she's with
Well,
this duddy dork.
you recognize who she is, right?
Uh, no, she looked familiar, but I didn't put I couldn't put my finger on who she was because she looked like she was wearing a really bad wig, but,
Not a
uh
bad wig. She's just the same lady that Rick Moranis made out with in Little Shop of Horrors.
no way! She was way more
Absolutely.
attractive in that than she was in Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah.
I thought she was very attractive. But yeah, she was a believable character, like when she's telling, "I gotta get ready for work," and then when they bust the door open and they're going to town over the sink. I
That's
was like,
Ellen
"Why
Green.
is she interested in this dweeb?" I just thought he was not appealing. I mean, if I would have been in the movie, I would have wanted a scene with, Gary Oldman. He looked pretty good in this movie. Even though he was a nuts. I mean, he plays a good nutcase, but I thought he was cute. He looked really good.
Well, when I'm watching this movie, like I said, the first 45 minutes to 50 minutes, there's no changes. It's really just the same film I'm used to. Uh, if you have something to talk about the first act of the film, the setup, please, you have the floor.
So, you talking about before the killings or
After
that setup?
up until the point where basically he starts taking her out to Central Park and shows her the runner, and he tells her pretend like you're jogging with him, and she's got the sniper scope.
Mhm. So, all the way up until then?
Yeah, all the way up until then because
Okay, well,
there's a
the
lot to unpack.
scene
We got all night.
yeah, because the scene where, he's walking down the hallway past the girl, and she's sitting with her feet over the banister, and she's smoking a cigarette, where Matilda's sitting there, and
Yes,
it's like his first interaction with her. You could tell, it seemed to me from the character, that he had seen her there a lot, that he sees her a lot, and
yes,
this time he noticed that she had a bruise on her face, and she's smoking a cigarette or whatever, so I could tell that he already had sympathy for her, even though he didn't really interact with her, because it's not his problem. He was able to say, because just like he said, his rule was no women and no children. So he did have a soft spot for a serial killer, basically, is what he was. He was a
yes.
hitman, so it means he kills more than one person. He had a soft spot for her, and that came across in that scene to me as a woman that that I knew that somehow this little girl and him were going to have some kind of connection, even without knowing, basically the little bit that you had told me about, to watch this movie and why you wanted to watch it. So, I really thought that was a really good scene. To me, it showed a connection between the two before the actual incident was going to happen, which it helped me understand a little more when she walked on past. when she knew what had happened in her apartment, and she's carrying that bag of groceries, and you could see she did such a good job. I mean, my lip was quivering, feeling sorry for this girl, knowing, and she kept her calm, knowing that those people had just murdered her family and they were going to murder her if they knew who she was or knew that she belonged there. And then ringing the bell saying, please answer the door, please answer the door. And I'm like, come on, hurry, hurry, get your ass to the door, let that girl inside. That's what I was thinking. So it was really a very nerve-wracking scene for me as a woman, wanting to help this young girl so she won't be killed. And the whole time I'm praying that the little boy was still alive, that he was able to hide and didn't get caught. So when I found out that he was dead, that I cried. I mean, it really hurt my feelings to know that that's how disgusting those men were, and I wanted them to all die.
Yeah.
I couldn't wait for them to all get what they deserved after they kicked that little boy. I mean, I had sympathy because, man, the grossest scene in that shooting was her in the bathtub, because that was so realistic, blowing a hole through the porcelain tub right through her
And
body.
you could just see the little giblets coming out from the back of the tub.
It was gruesome. It was a very gruesome scene, but it was very believable, and my heart was just beating out of my chest for that whole scene. And the whole time, the coward just standing there while his family's getting murdered. You know.
I'm going to go on mute for a second. I've got some people pulling up that I just don't want to have on stream. They're outside, not here.
Okay.
I'll be back in about 2 minutes.
Okay. So just keep talking about this scene. Okay.
Keep talking about this scene.
Okay. Well, I was really thrown back by his character because I felt like he was such a wuss as he was standing there like a wimp, when he's the reason why his whole family is being murdered and he did nothing. A real man would have took his gun, grabbed his gun, and just started blazing, because what else? Why not? At least he'd make an effort to try to let his one kid get out of the apartment before they killed him. And that scene really stirred up a lot of emotion for me watching it, because it was devastating as a mother, thinking about something like that happened to my children, and him being such a piece of shit. But it did help you, the watcher, realize that these are really bad guys, and if you don't give them what they want, they're coming for you. I didn't realize how bad they were until later on in the movie, when you found out more about the lead guy and a couple of the other people and how they were connected to the city. That made it even more intriguing. But the scene where she walked after she'd bought him 2 little quarts of milk, because he seemed to like milk, and she noticed that because he always walked by with his own little quarts of milk. So she made sure she was going to pick him up some milk. So she already had a small, I don't know how you would say it, a small crush, I guess you could say, a young pubescent girl who's just now starting to have the stirrings of uh, her female womanly ways about to start, uh, you know, as a woman, starting to change, her body's starting to change. So she's starting to have those little emotions that a young woman would have for older man, because that's usually how it happens. You see someone, your teacher or your coach at school, and I think that whole thing came across really well, and she did such a good job portraying this character, because I was really shocked at how good an actress she was, and for this to be her very first movie, it was she did great, a phenomenal job. I really feel like she did really good. But the scene where she's at the door, and you could see her lip quivering and the tears running down her face, because she just was trying to stay as strong as she could, but she knew that any moment that one gentleman was gonna, or not gentleman, but one thug was gonna walk up behind her and basically kill her or shoot her from across the hall if Leanne didn't open the door. So that whole scene was so tense and so dramatic for me. I just was, at the pretty much ready to bite my nails off, hoping and waiting on why isn't he opening the door? Don't look out the door, just open and let her in. So when he did let her in, I had a exhale, and I was just like, oh, thank God, that he got her out of there because that was so intense for me. But then when he got her in there, and then he realized that, oh, now what am I going to do with this girl? Uh, I don't need a kid, I'm a hitman,
Exactly.
basically type of thing. So that whole setup for that part made me kind of feel bad for him, because, what was he supposed to do? I mean, was he just supposed to just kick her out, or dump her on the side of the street somewhere? So, I just thought that whole setup for that couple that was about to happen, was really, really good and very realistic for me. What did you think about that scene?
Well,
Bruce, are you back?
I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear
Okay.
you.
Let me get myself back here. Okay. So we're watching this the first time, and the Gary Oldman is asking Malky about Beethoven, and Malky's just too immersed in his own life to give a shit about classic music.
He's nuts.
And Gary Oldman grabs a shotgun and just goes in, and he's feeling the music at first. I believe he hits the wife first, blows her through the bathtub, then goes after the girl after he missed her the first time. He gets that. The little boy dives under the bed, and then everybody else starts fanning out looking for what else is going on, which
Mhm.
Gary Oldman corners a dad. The dad's got a shotgun tucked behind him up against a millwork piece. Yeah, I know that. God, that sucks.
I didn't see what it said. I'm sorry, I
Uh,
missed it.
yeah, there's certain rules in certain endeavors that like no women, no kids should be a rule for certain things, just for like across society for whatever
Well,
reason.
they're trying to show you that these guys have no morals and they don't have any boundaries.
Yeah,
They're scum. They're the lowest of the low, even low for criminals, Just like in prison, you have, these serial killers and stuff in there like Ted Bundy that would kill child molesters. I mean, not Ted Bundy, he molested a little 13-year-old girl, but he killed her. But
yeah,
even some of these guys in prison, really badasses that, killed a bunch of people, would kill a guy if they knew the guy had raped a kid, things like that. So these guys in this group with Gary Oldman's character were all so low, they didn't give a shit.
no,
And they were all afraid of him. You could tell every single person in that whole event were
they were
afraid of him
fearful.
because they were afraid that he was just gonna snap and kill them because he's fucking crazy. Excuse my language, but he was nuts, and that's why I really thought he did such a good job, but he's always good. I mean, I can't even think of one bad movie I've ever seen him in that that he wasn't believable because he's such a good actor.
Looking for the photo. There we go. This
Yeah,
scene
that
right
guy,
here,
oh,
when he
he's
sniffs him,
disgusting. Yeah,
this was pretty
he's
much
sniffing his
physically.
fear.
He's completely physically improving this. And Michael Bottolato, the father for Natalie Portman here,
Mhm.
totally caught off guard and becomes completely respectful of Gary Oldman as an actor. I found this scene right here when all this is going on. I'm like, this guy's crazy. Now I'm 20
Okay,
years
I'm not
old.
gonna tell you what I was thinking of during this scene.
Well, I was 20 and stupid. I'm not much better. I'm just 47 now. But when I'm watching this for the first time in 1995, because we had the dollar cinemas down there, finally got off of light and limited duty. No, it was 45 and 45. I was a bad boy. When I got off the ship, this movie was at the Dollar Cinemas. So I went there on its opening night over there at the Dollar Cinema, and everybody was there. As we're watching it, I can hear people in the theater just getting uncomfortable. You can watch like the heads shift. Everybody's doing this shit. Like They're fucking getting weirded out by Gary Oldman, which
Yeah,
was
to
perfect.
me, he used it as an intimidation, he up close and personal because that's his way of showing. It's just like a pissing contest or whatever. He instead of, saying something with words, he gets in their space, within inches of your face and he's smelling them like, "I can smell your fear." So I know he didn't take it, even though he knew he took it, okay?
Yeah,
Just to see if he would, because he could have killed him then. He could have killed them all right then if he wanted to. But in a way, it's almost like it's his torture that he thrives off of. He likes the fear that he gets from people, the look on their face, the way they're the stiffening of their body, I don't know, the contortion of them of their face and the way that they move their body. He gets a thrill out of it because he's psycho. He's a nut job.
he's
But,
absolutely crazy.
yeah, he was absolutely batshit nuts. So, yeah, that scene was creepy. I mean, it was really creepy, but it wasn't as creepy as the one that comes up towards the back end before, when he steps out into the alley, when you think
Okay,
he's not there. To
yeah,
me, that scene was even it gave me I was like, "Oh my god, it's over." I knew it was a final feeling. I can't explain the difference of that, but to me, that one didn't wasn't a f it wasn't final. I mean, I knew there was gonna be he was gonna let him off because he was intimidating him. He wasn't there to shoot him because he woulda just shot him. He shot through the at the old lady. You see what I mean?
yeah,
So this was he's not that he wasn't playing around. He was doing it to, I don't know, to intimidate him, to thrive, to milk it for as much as he
and
could.
he milks
You know what I
really
mean?
well.
Huh?
He milked his unsettling aura very well.
Yeah, and he did and he's good at it. That's why he's so talented, and he's one of those characters that whether he's good or a bad guy, you love to hate him or you love to love him. You know what I mean? Because he's so good at it. He's very believable
Well, anyway,
as a bad guy.
Ellen Green was in Little Shop of Horrors and then Leon Professional as Matilda's mother, Audrey.
Mhm. Well, I had a feeling, I was like, I recognized her, but I could not put my finger on it because she was so pretty, I would never have said that was the same actress. Even though now that you said it, it makes it clicks.
Makes
But,
very good sense.
I was like, all I could think of was, what is someone like her, if she's not a prostitute, why is she with this dweeb? That's all I
No
could
idea.
think of. But, yeah, that guy was a good dweeb. I mean, I don't he wasn't, he didn't stick out like I recognized him from anything else, but, he played a good dick.
Yeah,
A
this girl
terrible
played
dad.
her.
'Cause
This
you already
played.
hated him when he's slapping his kid around and stuff,
Oh my god,
you
he
know?
was so believable
So
being a piece of shit father.
yeah, and he was believable, and so I didn't give a crap whether they were gonna kill him. I just felt bad for, I mean, I didn't even I hate to say this, it's terrible. When they shot the teenage daughter, I kinda just went, you know, that
Well, she
sucks."
was an abusive bitch. I mean, here's what she looks like today.
Yeah, but she was still a kid,
Yeah,
dumb
she was like
kids do dumb shit.
15, 17, somewhere around there.
Yeah, she was like
Now, I mean,
15 or 16, I think.
yeah, and here she is in her 20s and such. She only has limited amount of stuff, but her resume is actually pretty big, and she's still doing stuff.
Well, yeah, she wasn't much older than, Natalie Portman, so she's
Nope.
probably still in movies, but the scene where they showed the little boy under the bed and all the gunfire going off, oh, my heart just broke,
Yeah.
it was sad, and then I also felt pity for Leon when I realized he couldn't read, and she was gonna teach him how to read. I just thought that whole scene was adorable.
I'm trying to find this is the fourth man for Stansfield, and they have nothing about him. He is in Coming to America, Capture Bigfoot. No photos on
Which
IMDb.
character is this?
He's the fourth Stansfield guy, Randolph Scott. They
Okay.
don't give him a name. Keith Glasgow. Oh, we could actually do a search on this guy, and this comes up. This guy was an actor into the 2000s, and he later became a firefighter. And sadly, he passed away on September 11th, 2001. He was a firefighter with Ladder 21 at the New York City Fire Department, and he was killed in September 11 attacks. That was the big guy.
Yeah, the one that was cowering in the corner.
No, he's about ready to piss himself. And I love the fact he actually squeezes the round off at Malky. God damn it, Tony! I love that.
Yeah, but the fact that this guy, this macho, muscle-bound guy is afraid of Gary Oldman,
This is
I
before
just
Vin
thought that
Diesel.
that just showed you how nuts this guy was, and it kinda gives you a foretelling, if I thought about it a little more, I don't know why I didn't, that he was somebody big,
Yeah,
okay? Because that this struck me that this giant buff guy, all the guys basically, even the Italian guy that was like his secondhand man or whatever, they were all petrified of him, and you could tell. And it clicked later once I found out who he was and what position he had. I was like, "What the?" When he drove there, and I found out that who he was, I was like, what a scumbag using his position and using all the people
all
under
his
him
resources.
to do drugs and basically terrorize people, whole families, and murder them, and then blame them on other drug dealers or whatever, because he's basically untouchable. And it sure did give me a big taste of what we're going through right now in
Yeah.
real life. I mean, I don't mean to bring politics in it, but it's like, I
Oh,
mean, the
what a shame.
untouchables are the people that are in government. They can smoke crack and do, coke off a little girl's ass, and nobody gives a shit. You can just do whatever the hell you want.
Go ahead and shower with your grandkid, Joe. Nobody gives a shit.
It's like, it's disgusting. But maybe that's why I was so I could feel my blood pressure going up. My palms were sweating. And I just felt my heart was breaking for that little boy and for the little character of Matilda for what had happened. And then when I found out who did it, all I wanted was to see them all pay for what they did. And then I kept saying, "Oh, it's going to end and they're going to get away with it," because that's what happens in real life.
Yeah.
They don't ever pay for it. But, man, it was intense. That whole scene was just terrible. But
The
when he opened that door and let her in, I could feel like, the adrenaline go, out of my system because, I needed to have a drink basically, or have a cigarette even though I don't smoke.
this guy right here comes up to the door and he's listening in at the door for about 45 seconds. And Matilda turns on Transformers.
Mhm. Cartoon.
And that about makes Leon pull a Tony and negligently discharge. Doesn't. But once this Stansfield guy hears it, he's like, okay, she's turned on the TV. They're watching cartoons. He walks back to stand guard over the house, over the apartment.
Mhm.
This guy still does work. Last thing he was in was 2 Minutes of Fame. He was in Ray Donovan as Bruce. Looks like he does pretty much a lot of bit part work. Probably a tradesy in real life, or has something going on.
Mhm.
This guy, Malky.
Oh,
No.
so that was the right-hand man?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah,
And you
there
can
he
tell.
is.
Probably one of my favorite thugs in any of all movies, because he's just the whole time he's trying to hold the team together because the boss sure as hell ain't. I love it. I love watching him try to do that. Go outside. We're going out in the hall. The old
To stop him from doing more damage.
yeah.
But the
Stansfield
thing
tries
is,
shooting an old
all of
lady.
that
We're
all
going
of
back
that made
inside.
sense once we found out, who he was and
Yeah.
how and what his real position was and what kind of, why he was afraid of him, because all he'd have to do is throw him under the bus.
That's it.
And he just wipe his hands clean of the whole thing and blame it on these dum-dums. So, and they knew it. So basically he was untouchable. But see, there was some over the top type things too that I thought was extremely over the top. But for this kind of movie, you expect the over the top things, like when he just walks in and starts killing those people when he to save Matilda when they took her. That scene, him just walking into a place like that is just that ain't gonna happen. So, without being shot up or whatever. So I thought that scene was a little over the top, but it was still good. It was a really good scene, very intense. But see, I love John Wick. I love those type of movies. So he was a man. He was out for vengeance. They took his girl, his newfound family, because that's the only family he had, and that's how he looked at it. Because he had already went and told that other guy, his boss, to make sure that all the money that he's owed is going to go to her, because he did, even though I don't think he felt like he was going to die, but that he knew now he had a reason to live. He had a reason to live. He had somebody to live for, which he had never had,
No.
So I just love that whole character arc for his character, because that was really, really good, because he had something to live for now. Something worth fighting for, besides, a paycheck and his humdrum life that he had before he met her.
Where after he gets done killing off most of the rest of the family, Norman Stansfield's talking about Beethoven to Matilda's father.
Yeah.
And he's playing the mantelpiece like it's a piano. And I'm watching this for the first time, and I'm hearing "A la verga, pendejo," and all the theater's kind of laughing a bit, because like nobody's expecting this in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
After about 12 minutes, nobody screen talked at all. And this is a movie theater where usually screen talking's a thing. But that scene where Oldman is doing that, he just played Ludwig von Beethoven earlier that year in Immortal Beloved.
Uh-huh.
And so he's already up on his Beethoven knowledge. And so they did like 7 or 8, maybe 12 takes. And each time he improvises a different little story about Beethoven, trying to get just the scene right. Is this good? And that was, I found that funny. It's on the trivia page for IMDb.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to read that part of it, but
that
doesn't shock me in the least with Gary Oldman. That's what he does. He's very detailed about all of his characters and trying to live them, be them. And that's probably, you can definitely tell. There's only a few actors that do that type of thing, I think. What was the other one? The movie about the guy with the headset, and it was Natalie Wood died in it.
Brainstorm.
Yeah, but the actor.
Oh, Walken?
Yeah, Christopher Walken does that type of stuff too.
Yes.
So, you can tell certain actors that have, I don't know, yeah, Anthony Hopkins, that's another one. Very detailed, living his character. Jared Leto, I think he's a little bit like that too.
He's weird.
Yeah, and they all have that, that they're on the edge of the balcony, sense. You get that feeling from them, from those actors, and that's why. It's because they're able to portray other people and be other people, and they probably act that way at home. You know what I mean? I wouldn't know. I've not been to their home, but it seems to me like they absorb themselves into their character, and you could tell that they're on the edge when they're being that character in the movies they're in. So I don't know. That's the sense that I get from it. But Leon's character had a very good character arc, a character that you want to see succeed.
Yes.
You want to see him achieve something.
Yeah.
And all you want for the girl, for Matilda, is for her to live, to be able to grow up and, get revenge for her little brother, basically. And that was the sad part to me when that part came up, even though we felt relief, and that Leon did what he said he was gonna do, but she didn't really know if he did or not. She doesn't know what happened.
Mm.
So, that I kinda felt bad for her because she didn't know whether or not, he was successful in getting rid of that person.
Well, everything in this movie, the tragic items happen after she goes to the store.
Yeah,
So that should be like if
while
they
she's
make a
shopping.
sequel, yeah. If they make a sequel, she should never go out for food.
Why? Because then she'd be
Because
dead.
no, if she goes out for food, she walks in on like a tragedy in progress.
Well, that's
the
what she did.
Yeah,
She walked up the hallway carrying a bag of groceries.
that's probably well. They would have
So,
seen her, and she would have probably snuck down the hallway from her perch where she was smoking a cigarette at.
yeah, maybe. But the whole scene where she walks past it while she knows what just happened in there, not
Yes,
knowing why it was happening, but she knew it was bad, and she knew that she was gonna die because she saw her dad laying there dead, in the hallway, right?
yeah,
And she looked down the hall and she could see her sister at the end, so she knew she was dead. Now, she just assumed her brother was dead because she couldn't hear him or anything. But when she went to the door, that scene to me was very intense. And all I wanted was
yeah.
for Leon to open the door and save her because I knew she was going to die. So the whole lead up to that to me was, I don't know. I wouldn't want them not to do that. I mean, to me, that was what made this scene so intense that I was like, come on, open the door.
But what I thought was worse was the fact that the guy walks up afterwards, and Leon's pushing the pistol, measuring where he thinks the guy's center mass is.
Hmm. Yeah, because he was prepared to take the guy out if he had to, but, uh, I mean, it was intense, but as soon as he opened the door and let him in or let her in the door and shut it, and then the guy heard the cartoons come on, um, yeah, my adrenaline started to go back down again, and even if they decided to do something, because when the other guy says, "Oh, there's another girl, we gotta get her," and the guy turns towards the door, so he knew that could have been her. It might have been her, but he didn't wanna he said, "F it." He wasn't gonna go through this shit. He was done. See,
Yeah,
he was re it was over with to him, so
we
he didn't
killed a
give a
family
shit.
today. We're good.
So, yeah, so the thing is that once he walked away from the door, I felt that they were safe. I felt that Matilda was safe. Now, now it was up to Leon to decide what he was going to do with this kid. Was he going to dump her on the side of the road? Was he going to kick her out? What was going to happen? So I was really happy because I didn't know what was going to happen. So I was really happy that he decided to let her stay there for a few days. You know what I mean? At least until she could figure out what they were going to do, because when he found out she didn't have any family and
Yeah,
everybody was dead, and then she realized, found out that he was a hitman, basically a cleaner, whatever you want to call him. So she was going to say, well, I'll hire you to take these people out for me, because she knew he had to be good at it. She assumed he was,
yeah.
but and he was good, but she didn't know that because it wasn't something she saw. So when he agreed to teach her some things, I think that was basically his way of bonding with her as a friend. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Even though she was a young friend, it was the only friend he ever had. Really in his life. He The thought that maybe she could be like a daughter to him is what came across to me. And she needed a dad. She had nobody, and he had no one. So to me, that was the beginning of a friendship that could be a daughter father thing. I never ever looked at it as that maybe, you know, something, they could have more than that. Because I'm not a perverted person that would think that way. But, when she brought that up, them having to pack their stuff and take the plant and their few little belongings and keep moving because she keeps telling people, that, "Oh, we're lovers," and stupid shit like that. It's typical teenage girl with those grandioso ideas, because of her little hormones are starting to go, and she thinks he's cute and he's a macho because he's a killer.
Well, the
I
first
just
thing she does
I
was
kinda
she
giggled, I
opens
thought it was
up
kinda cute.
she opened up the window at the first apartment and lets go of 6 rounds of the revolver.
Yeah,
So they're walking,
to
and
show
he
him that she could do it.
and he bends down, Matilda, never do that again or I break your head. Oh my God, if there's never been a phrase that got in my vocabulary faster,
Mhm.
perfect, 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 perfect. Oh,
I thought that scene was really funny,
yeah,
but I thought it was cute, the 2 walking down, uh, down the road carrying their few little things, but he still kept her, you know what I mean?
yes.
So, the fact that she was walking side by side with him, to me was a character arc for him because he was growing, realizing that, he wanted more of out of life than what his humdrum life was before she entered it. And gave his, life meaning and purpose to have someone to take care of, and that needed him, and, I loved it. I mean, because a lot of people say, "Oh, it's a woman's movie," or whatever because of that type of thing, but to me, men are men, and they can be macho and kick ass, but still have a tender side. And that's what women love. Women love a man that can be macho and pick her up and throw her around the room in the bedroom when it's time, but also be there to help her when she's got a cut or a boo boo, or to pick up their baby and that needs diaper change. I mean, that's the womanly view of a man. All women want a man, a real man, a man that treats her like a woman. You know what I mean? I don't know how to explain that any different. And that's what I got from this character. I got a real man character, even though he was slow, and he was behind, he was a gentleman. Okay, I'll put it that way. He was a hardened killer that took out bad guys, or what we hoped were bad guys, but for his career as a hitman. But he was also, a gentleman where he could be knew how to treat a lady. Okay, I'll put it that way. Hey, that's true. Grown women like daddy too. Just like I said, in the bedroom, if you could throw me around, give me a spanking or whatever, treat me like a man would treat a woman, but still be a gentleman and take care of business. Bring home the bacon and change that baby diaper. That's a real man.
That's going to get clipped. That's going to get clipped. I can hear it. I can hear it now. Go
Why?
ahead, guys.
Why is that going to get clipped?
Because it's awesome. That's why.
Oh, okay. But you know what I mean? But the
Yes.
thing is, I'm a woman. I'm telling you my perspective as a woman. That's what I see in this character. I think he's a man, and I think that made him more attractive. I don't think if I just saw him walking down the street, I probably wouldn't think twice about it. But the character in this movie I thought was attractive. And each scene that went on with his character development around having someone to take care of, made me think he's even more attractive. The
Yes.
scene where he is using that axe to tear that wall open to get that fan out. Oh, that was so intense to me. But not knowing what was happening the whole time, having a woman crying, a young woman crying and begging, not knowing what's going to happen, and all he's trying to do is think 4 steps ahead. How's he going to save this girl? Because they're coming in, and he knows they are, and they're way up. What is he going to do? Throw her out the window? So he's trying to think of a way to get her out of there alive, and that's exactly what he did. He was able to get her out of there because he knew what he was doing, because he knew how to save her, and he did it. So, see, he wasn't as mentally incapable as everybody was trying to portray he was.
No, he wasn't.
So, He just didn't have that aspect in his life to have reason to do any of those things. All he did was get up, get his job, look at the pictures, set it up, take them out, and then go back home and get some milk and sit down and eat and watch TV. And basically, that was his boring life until Matilda walked in, a young, spunky girl. I mean, this scene where, oh, I just thought it was so cute, where she wanted to do charades and she comes out with her panties on the outside of her clothes and their bra, and she's doing the Madonna, or, trying to get him to guess Madonna. And he was like, he didn't know who it was because he never did anything. He had a boring life. And then
Yeah.
she comes out and does a cute, adorable little Groucho Marx and, Charlie Chaplin or whatever it was. I just loved it because I had 4 sisters and we used to do stuff like that because we didn't have money. So we would entertain our family by doing little shows for our parents, dressing up and singing and doing stupid stuff. And I just thought it was adorable, especially when he came out dressed up like John Wayne. I guessed right away who it was, but she didn't have a clue who it was because it was way ahead of her, her time, thinking about it. And I just thought that whole thing was a good bonding thing. But that even made him more attractive to me, that he was willing to do something goofy that other men would think, oh, that's so embarrassing. There's no way I would do that. But a real man can do that, to do something like that and entertain a child without feeling like he's not a man anymore just because he was being a father. I thought it was a great scene. It was one of my favorite scenes in the movie. Next to the scene where the bad guy gets what he deserves.
Yeah.
But that was my very favorite scene. I mean, it's sad, but I was happy about it.
Oops. Hold on.
I can't read your chat and talk at the same time. Sorry, people.
Oh, you're good.
No, I'm not blonde. I am really a brunette. So has it had those bots haven't come in, right?
I just saw them. So
Oh, that we have bots again? Great. Boy, they just love anywhere
I've got a chat full of mods, I think. So
oh, we do? You got a bunch of mods in there? Who's in there? I saw Tommy's name come up when you posted it up at the top.
Let me go back to channel real quick. I just set up things. Hey, Man of War. I got Man of War in there. As far as mods, Shadows and Sun and Man of War.
So were they Russian bots or hack or
probably Democrat bots?
Oh, so they weren't Russian then?
No,
because they hate Russia. Well, except for the ones that they sold Hillary sold our nuclear stuff to, or uranium one.
I believe you. I believe you.
Oh,
Shadow and Sun's like I got to blast them all.
Oh, he got rid of them. Well, thank you for getting rid of the sex bots or whatever you want to call them.
Okay, so there's one other guy that Stansfield had. This character right here, the dreadlock guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's actually a reggae musician. And the scene where he's going through the albums, through the LPs.
Yeah, in the one teenage girl's bedroom where the little boy was hiding under the bed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of like an Easter egg of the movie. I don't really know what other stuff he does. Soundtrack for Dumb and Dumber, the complaint handler for Joe's Apartment.
That was one of the things that I thought was, remember I said that there was a couple things that I thought was weird and that didn't really fit in the movie that I thought was iffy. Now, in the beginning, when they went into the apartment and took out the whole family, you know, he looked like a thug, whatever. But when he went later, when Gary Allman went to his office, like he was the DA or whatever, right? And then this guy shows up. To me, that didn't fit because he did not look or dress like anyone that would show up at the DA's office and hang out with the DA.
And he had that weird hoodie that was popular in the early 90s. Remember those?
Yeah, but it's still not something professional that you would wear to hang out with the DA. So that whole part, to me, I didn't understand why that, but maybe the guy got a part because somebody he knew was in the, a producer or something, and so they put him in the movie. Because I've seen that happen before. You'd be on the set, and then all of a sudden you see one of the I guess one of the producers that you see sitting back there, not really doing anything, just watching whenever. That's why they always have all those director's chairs sitting there by the cameraman or by the director's chair, because those are producers that get to come whenever they want and sit and watch what's going on. They'll come in and have 2 or 3 kids, and then the director's walking around saying, okay, we want to put these kids in the scene. So that's probably what happened. This guy was the son or the cousin or the brother of somebody that was involved in the movie, and they said, hey, can you find a part for him? And that's probably how he got the part. I would like to look it up now that you said that. I'm going to have to write that down and make some notes. What was that? What was his name again?
Willie Oneblood.
Willie. Okay, I'm going to write that down because I really think that if we investigate, we'll find out.
Yeah. Anyway, this girl right here, she had a starting piece at the start of the movie as a blonde-haired girl with the fat guy. That was, she's in Fifth Element. Holy shit.
Oh, she was the actress that portrayed the singer?
Yes.
Yeah, because the real singer isn't the one who was in the movie.
No.
Yeah, she was phenomenal. Yeah, but she's really pretty.
Yeah, she is.
Was she in High Tension?
Yep.
Oh my God, that movie's so intense. Have you seen it?
I'll have to see it now.
Oh, you're going to have to watch. We'll have to watch it in October. That's a good October movie for us to watch. It's really, really good. I love European movies, though. I told you that, right?
Yes.
Before. I end up always watching them by myself because everybody gets up and leaves because they don't want to watch the whole movie. But, oh well, that's the way it is.
I like how Matilda teaches him how to read and how to catch up on things that he missed in life. I like that a lot. And I like the fact that he does show her how to do weapons maintenance, and he's showing her all of it. He doesn't just, you're stuck on pistols or revolvers. No. Everything he dirties up, he gives right to her, and she's there.
That one scene, though, where he's teaching her how to use the gun with the scope on it, right?
Yep.
And it's got like a rubber bullet or something, or a blank in it or something, right? Because or a paintball or something like that, right?
Paint pellet.
Right. Okay, yeah, a paint pellet. Well, the thing is, that whole scene, he's got bodyguards and stuff. Who is this guy? Why would he have bodyguards? Happen to be a guy with bodyguards jogging through the park on the day that he gives her the gun to teach her to shoot somebody. That to me was a little, I didn't understand that. That was like, what? It left me scratching my head going, what's this all about? It didn't make any sense.
They went to the park. He was going to let her pick one target. She found the one high value target that happened to be there. This is coincidence by script.
Oh, I guess I could do that. But I just was like going, I don't understand. This doesn't really, I don't know. I just thought it was, I don't know. I can't explain it. I just
thought it was silly.
It took me out of the realm of possibilities that it was more realistic, because it just seemed over the top. You know what I mean? To me, I don't know, but she did good. I mean, for someone who's never shot a rifle before, I mean, supposedly she did really good shooting a high-powered rifle that far.
In the European version,
Mhm.
there's a moment where he takes her out on a few runs, and they're in front of a guy one time, and he says, "Keep the pistol trained on him." And so she's there, and she shoots him twice to find out it's filled with paint pellets.
Mhm.
And the guy's getting out of hand, out of pocket. What the hell's going on here? And then finally, Leon shoots him and then shoots him in the head when he collapses. Then they grab whatever they need and they leave.
Yeah,
The
see, I
next,
didn't get to see that. I was thinking in my head, I kept when he said he was gonna show her some stuff and he took her up on the roof, I thought after that he would, take her somewhere where she would, like, go into a business or something where this guy was like a pawn shop owner or something, I don't know, or just a random business. And she'll go in and, act like, can you help me? I'm lost or whatever, like a tourist or something, a young tourist, like separate from my mother. And he'll say, well, let me help you. And then she shoots him or she stabs him right through the throat or something like that as a hitman would do. But that was her way of being able to get up close and personal using her vulnerability. So I thought something like that was going to happen, but it didn't. So, but that in my imagination, while I'm thinking, what's he going to, how's he going to use her being a child basically to help her get somebody and take care of it. You know what I mean? That's what I was using in my imagination, but nothing like that happened. It was more of what he did by taking her up on the roof and that kind of thing. So they really didn't use, as much stuff as they did in the other movie, like you said, but I didn't get to watch that version. So the version that I got to watch, that's basically
you saw the version I've watched like 40 times. Okay. There's a little bit of Roman Polanski stuff that's hinted at. The moment where the dress drops,
mhm.
that's it. That's where it stops. If he would have had her put it on, that would have been complete perversion and out of where the character needs to be. That's not
Yeah.
what that's not what Luc Besson wanted to do.
Yeah, and what
No.
I saw when he gave her the dress, to me, it was very childlike. It was a very childlike dress because it was over the top gaudy and, bright pink. It was, frilly, very frilly. She dressed like a girl, but her dress was more dressed down. Uh, I can't explain it. It was uh more mature. Her outfit was more mature than the outfit he had purchased for her. So when she looked at it, she was like, you could tell she was like, "What? I don't wanna wear that." The look on her face. So, but to me, that was part of his character arc of him getting feelings for her, wanting to provide for her type of thing, like a father figure.
You know,
So, to me, that was part of his character arc, and it was important to show that because, he coulda went and bought her a stuffed animal, but that would could have been taken as a perversion too, more than an outfit. So, to me, the outfit was the choice that I woulda made myself if, I was gonna buy something and not make it look like, I wanted more out of her, because to me, her coming out dressed like Madonna in the first outfit was a little bit over the top, for
yeah,
someone who might be watching it thinking it was a perverted thing, but then as they did each of the different outfits and stuff, and she was doing the different characters, I realized that she was playing charade. So if it had been me, I would have chose, like, her coming out, as the second character, and then did Charlie Chaplin or whatever, and then did Madonna to get the different people out. I wouldn't have started out with, Madonna because that was her outfit was just way over the top, to get away from the PO word, you know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah.
So,
She's a Disney. She's not trying to get a Disney. We get it.
yeah. Yeah, and the when she told that whole thing with the when she was saying that she was gonna practicing her violin, that he took it as, for her to go to this one school for Juilliard, but, and he was all impressed, he thought that was really great, but, when she came down, she said, that we're lovers or whatever, because she was doing her fantasy, uh young girl pubescent, and she's starting to have those feelings and thinking, "Oh, I'm a woman now," because I'm a girl. So I went through the same thing. I mean, I was late. I mean, I was later than most girls because my two sisters were uh, way advanced when it came to wanting to dress like a girl and be a girl because I was a tomboy. So my stuff really didn't start kicking until I was in like 11th grade. So I was, behind all my friends when it came to being interested in dressing up like a little girl and all that stuff. It wasn't important. But, she was what, 13 supposedly in the movie?
She's 12.
Well, 12. Okay. So she was about to be a teenager. So she was starting to feel like, and she had feelings for him and he wasn't her dad. So she was taking the feelings of caring for him and having feelings for him as a protector in the wrong way because she didn't have anyone. She didn't have a hands-on mom and her sister was never there for her. So she was
Nope.
taking it the only way she could. Her mind was thinking that she must be in love with him because why else would she have feelings for him? She didn't understand that and she didn't have anyone to guide her through that.
No.
Even though Leon was trying to help her with it in his childlike, innocent way too, because both of them were going through changes that didn't realize because neither one of them had ever really had anyone that gave a crap and wanted to be around them and talk, have actual conversation, and want to take care of each other. Like when she said, "I'll cook for you and I'll iron your shirts," this kind of stuff. So I just thought the whole thing was adorable. I mean, even though it was a really weird way for them to end up together, to take care of each other because of the whole thing, the situation about people being murdered in a building and stuff. I just never really lived anywhere where that type of stuff could go on a daily basis. But people all over the world live that way, in like Israel. There's bombings and stuff every week, bad stuff like that happening. So I could understand why this movie would be popular in Europe because it does have the bonding issue where if someone wants to take care of someone else, the loneliness and the horrible stuff going on around them. People being shot in the street and in the apartment next door, and nobody thinks twice about it because we do have that in Chicago. I mean, people are murdered every weekend.
That's just a Saturday. 40
So,
people, 40 people hitting drive-bys. It's just a
you know,
Saturday.
someone like
Yeah.
us that lives in a quaint town that we hear someone shot or someone commits suicide or whatever, it's like a shock still. We still have that aspect of our lives, thank goodness. But it's sad that other people around the world have to deal with this type of thing on a weekly basis. I mean, it's really sad. It really makes me feel for people. But to me, even though I'm not in that type of environment, I still felt I had feelings for these characters. It was a well-written script. It was very detailed and the director's vision of it was very detailed about the characters and how he wanted the characters to interact and for you to actually give a crap about these characters. So
See,
that definitely came across to me.
I could smell the environment they're in when they do all the outside exterior shots in Little Italy. I could smell that place. I could smell the burrows.
I was gonna say, what do you smell? Meatballs?
Meatballs, the onions being chopped up and put on sautés.
Mhm.
I can smell the restaurants and the exhaust from all the shitty cabs driving by that
Yeah,
order
now
all the
that
Christmas
I
crafts.
definitely felt, I felt that it was definitely a big city and that was people just walking by not giving a shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So, because
very
the
impersonal.
small amount of time that I actually got to go to downtown Boston, it was like all I could think of was, "Oh my god, just let me get out of here alive." That's it. That's all I could think of the whole time I was there for an hour and a half. That's it. Everybody, the cars weren't moving when the light was green. When the light was red, everybody's honking the whole time, whether it was green or red. The honking never stopped, and the sidewalks were packed with people, shoulder to shoulder, just shoving each other out of the way. I mean, and nobody gave a shit about anyone. It was horrible. There's no way someone could pay me enough money to live there to deal with that kind of stuff. I just wouldn't do it. It's not an environment. I don't care if they offered me $1 million a year. I wouldn't take the money. There's no way I could live in that environment. I just wouldn't
As,
do it.
as much as I would love to be in New York, I couldn't
For a
handle
visit, that's one thing, but to live there like these people supposedly were, I don't know how they do it. I mean, you have to be the right kind of person to live like that.
it.
I
Where
couldn't
where I'm
do
at
it.
right now, this is good enough. This is a big city. I'm good here.
See, I'm lucky. I can drive just a short distance and I can have that bustling street, music playing loudly, people laughing, lots of bars, lots of people smoking. And if you go at night, you can hear people throwing up, drunk people, whoa, show me your tits or whatever, you get all that excitement, but in 15 minutes, I can drive and it's quiet and calm, you know. It's a small city. It's not huge like some of these big cities that a lot of people live in. It's a small city. It's not to me, it's not that bad. Yeah, the traffic sucks and you're gonna have that in every big city, but you don't drive for hours to get out of it, like in Dallas now. I mean, you just drive and drive and drive, and it's like you never leave the city. So, I'm lucky when it
Yeah.
comes to that.
Uh, this goes on for a while, and then one day she goes over to go find a bit of resources at her old apartment. She pries up a floorboard, grabs some money, and people come in and start talking Stansfield.
Mhm.
And that's where you find out that Stansfield is a corrupt as hell DEA agent,
Yeah.
and he's livid. How dare you try to interrogate me about this? I don't have time for this Mickey Mouse bullshit. He has the perfect delivery. Either you will enjoy Gary Oldman for this movie,
Mhm.
or you will absolutely be turned off and probably never watch another film with him in it again, and you'll miss out on good movies. But here he's over the top. He's just completely over the top in this film.
Yeah, he came across as a perfect huge narcissist. The world revolves around him. I'm untouchable. Why are
He
you
shot my
wasting my
suit.
time? Yeah, it's like you're wasting my time. I have better things to do. I have an important job and you're nobody. That's basically what I got from that whole scene.
Yeah,
And that's it. And the thing is though, when she went there, she got that
the
rabbit.
address.
Yeah, but she got the rabbit, her brother's rabbit, and then she
Yep,
remembered the money under the floorboard
yep.
that, her parents had hid under there, so she had the money to be able to pay Leon to take him out, but then she overheard what was going on and got the address and said, "I'm gonna, just do it myself," not realizing, the
There's
huge
a lot of danger
huge
here.
trouble she's getting herself into because she's looking at it as a child, okay?
Yep,
She's growing up, she's changing and starting to become a young woman, but she still has a child mentality of what that she's the danger. The children don't see danger the same way we do. When we see a gun, we know at one end of the gun is death, okay? She looks at it as a gun, like when she hung it out the window, she wasn't thinking about shooting 6 people with
nope,
a gun and that they could all die. She was just shooting it to show him that, "Look at me, I can shoot this gun. I can do this job," because she's a kid. She's looking at it that way. Just like kids that play video games and they're shooting up people and zombies or whatever, they're not looking at it as reality, they're looking at it as a game.
correct.
We watch these kids play and we see them play for 8 hours straight a day or more. We get worried thinking that it's warping their brain and they're gonna be able to just get a gun and gonna go do a mass shooting. Even though most kids wouldn't do that, there is the one kid or one man or one woman that would do that because their mind isn't normal. They can't separate reality from
From
non-reality.
fantasy, they
Yeah.
can't separate the two. They think
So,
they can just get up after being hit twice by a 223 round, and it's not how it works. This is a still from part of the film that you didn't see.
yeah, I
This
was
is
gonna say, I don't remember this scene or that one.
the European version.
Mhm. I'm gonna have to watch it now
I'll get you a link for it.
because, I just thought she was adorable. I just thought she did such a good job. I was really impressed. Really impressed with her, and I was impressed with this guy, and I was like, "What other movies has he been in?"
What?
I don't even know if I don't know if I've even seen any other movies he was in, this actor.
It's okay, Bruce. It's okay. It's all
I
right.
mean, I just was really shocked. I thought he was really good. Now, see, I knew him. I knew Gary Oldman. I've seen him in lots of things.
Yeah, they had this was one of the press shots, I believe. And then she did a movie after this called Beautiful Girls, and then they tried getting her to star in Lolita, and she's read the script. She's like, it's too much sex, and she went back to school.
Well, I'm sure it was her parents. I said, "Nah, it's a little bit
No, it
too."
was her.
It was her? How do
It was
you
her.
know? Her
Uh,
parents just let her do
it,
whatever she wanted?
her parents let her dictate her choices. Her parents
Mm.
wouldn't let her do a sex scene until she actually had sex. So they pretty much we didn't see a lot of that until like her 20s. But her Wikipedia page has a lot of stuff on it. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, all I know is if I had a daughter that was 12, 11 or 12, uh, I would have said no if it was too much stuff like that. That reminds me of one of the actresses that I saw a documentary on, Brooke Shields, when she did Blue Lagoon.
I remember that movie.
And her mother was adamant that it wasn't going to be her daughter naked, and that if there was a person portraying her daughter, they better be perfect. They couldn't even have a pimple on their butt. So, her
Why do
mom was like,
I want to say that was Rona Mitra, but I know I'm wrong on that. But
well, I don't remember who it was, but I just remember some of the different things, and I was like, what a shitty mom. So I was just, I don't know, I don't know how parents do this kind of stuff to their kids and not let their kids just be kids.
she looks so young there.
Well, she was young.
Yeah. Well, this is like
I
she's
mean, how
filming
many years ago was this? Like 20
90,
something years?
92, 92, 93.
Yeah, so.
And he gets her in the bathroom. He talks to her. He explains to her that once you realize you're about to die, you really love life. Do you love
Mhm.
life? She agrees. He takes her back to the office. Willie One Blood, first to grab a pizza, a man after my own heart. And
Mhm.
then, not long after that, in goes Leon and says the thing, no women, no kids.
Yep.
And that scene is shown to us from Malky briefing Norman Stansfield on it. And at that point, it begins. They get the ESU for the NYPD area and emergency services units like a riot squad, a flusher service.
Mhm.
And at that point, both movies become one at this point. There's really not a lot of changes at all. I didn't see a single one.
Well, the scene where he's in the little cafeteria or the small restaurant with the guy, his boss that gets him the jobs, and he looks out the window in the front and he sees Matilda talking to that teenage boy, and she's smoking a cigarette, and he gets up. I mean, you can see his back go up like this, and he sees it. He's like, "No way, this ain't gonna happen." And that was when the father part kicked in. You know what I mean? And he went out and he said, "I don't want you smoking anymore, and don't talk to him. He's bad news." Whatever, I want
He's
you to
bad
stay right
news.
out here where I can see
Stop
you.
smoking.
Yeah, and he told that's why I said not to smoke. But, I just thought I thought the little things like that, even though it was very short, it was just very small increments of that, to me, showed that he looked at her as a daughter. He was looking at a daughter character because, it's gotten so bad today about people, the way that they talk about how a man can't be a dad character, even though he's not really the dad anymore in any movie, which is ridiculous. I mean, people are adopted every day. Men and women get married that have kids from other marriages. And now what? Nobody's supposed to, no men is supposed to talk to any daughters, and no mothers are supposed to talk to any sons from the other side of the family because, oh, that's perverted. I just thought that was stupid because I didn't even look at it that way. I just looked at it as they needed each other. They were both in a bad place in their life. They were lonely, and they needed a father figure. One needed a father figure, and the other one needed someone to take care of, which ended up being a daughter. And that's how I looked at it. So I never ever, until later when I was talking about it to someone else, then that scene popped in my head when she came out dressed as Madonna. I was like,
Mhm.
yeah, I guess that could have been, somebody could see that one scene and think that she was parading around in front of him. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I didn't see that at all in my mind when I was watching the movie as it being bad. You know what I mean? I just thought it was adorable because I did it. And, my sisters and I did little skits and dances and stuff for our parents because that was the way we entertained each other because we didn't have money. We were poor. So we entertained ourselves. And we would go somewhere. We got t-shirts one year with our names on it. And on the front, it had our last name was on the front of the shirt. And we went to a couple of restaurants, and I remember people going, "What is this, your own baseball team? Because this is a softball team or what?" Because there was so many of us with our mother. And I thought that was funny. But, other people's perception of you, I guess, would make a difference, out in public. So,
Well, I have some interesting trivia. One I just posted. The second shot of the movie is this long traveling shot up the street that they did without stopping. They could only accomplish it after days of study of watching the traffic lights, and then
mhm,
finally getting the shot down right before that hits the curb for the restaurant that Tony operates. Then the Marilyn Monroe part that you like so much. Um, all of this stuff. She had just watched the movie Wayne's World and admitted at the time Leon was filmed, she never watched any film starring Marilyn Monroe.
mhm,
It was too adult for her. Her mom had a huge grip on her throughout this film, and the smoking scenes. Before they allowed Portman to appear, they worked out a contract with Luc Besson, the director, who had strict mandates as regards the depiction of smoking. There could only be 5 smoking scenes in the film. She would never be seen to inhale or exhale smoke, and she would give up during the course of the film. Watch it closely. You can see all these mandates are rigidly adhered to. There are 5 smoking shots, never once drawing a cigarette.
mhm.
She's never exhaling. She does give up during the course of the film. Stop cursing and not hang out with that guy. He looks out like a weird one. I
Mhm.
love that.
Yeah. I thought it was a good scene. And even though it was very small,
Yeah.
very tiny thing, but it made an impact. I remembered it. It was a scene that I remembered.
There's so many little bits of this movie that when it is taken as a whole, this film is a classic. In
Mhm.
my opinion, it still holds up today.
Yeah,
Uh,
I thought it was really good. I mean, even today, I think it would be, it would, even if somebody else was to make it now, I think that it would have been it could be very successful, except for that whole P part of it.
yeah.
People would People's perception of it would be, I just don't think it would do well simply for that part of it, even though that's sad because we're losing so many great stories that could be told on the big screen simply because of people's perception of something instead of watching it to the end before they make their mind up about things like that. Have an open mind to watching it first before they start bitching about it.
True.
But oh well, we can't be everybody. We can only do it for ourselves. But I loved it. I thought it was very good. And you're right. I think it's a classic. I think it would be a classic movie. And it was freaking packed with action.
Yes.
Definitely good. Very good
Most of
action.
the action
Believable
isn't. Most of
action.
it is not like really serious action till the first and last scene. So it bookends well.
Mhm.
But between that is like 2 hours of just nonstop twist, narrative twist, narrative positioning, and then finally the ramp up to the apartment scene.
Mhm.
And holy hell, that apartment scene! That when she gets captured by the ESU, and she is kind of shocked first, and he's like, "What's the code?" That's like a area code for New York.
Mhm.
And also, if you Morse code freaks out there heard that, that's DIE, die. Sorry.
Oh, I didn't know that, but I thought that was a very good scene, and I was very proud of her, even though I knew, she's an actress, whatever, but I was proud of her for adding that extra thing so he would know, that it wasn't her. So I thought that was a really good scene, very, very intense. Leave it
Then
like that.
after two sets of ESU guys get wasted, let me see if I can pull this up and not get
Or
it.
in the hallway when the guy's there and he comes up and he says, "Give me the girl," and he takes that gun and he puts it right in that guy's face. That was a very good scene. I really thought that was very intense. And it seemed plausible to me that he could do that, but that he would do it because that was his kid. That was his kid and you ain't taking her. You're gonna give her back to me.
I'm going to see if we get booted off the web. If we do, that's I'll re-upload it. I'll edit this part out, but I got to see if we can do this. I love this part here. Just wanting to say that, break up the scene. Here we
Mhm.
go. Fuck. At that point, we were in the theater and got our ears blown out by Gary Oldman, and
Mhm.
that was the greatest part of that movie, in my opinion. I know there's a lot of like peaks in this film, but when we were watching that, I was just like, this motherfucking movie just hit 10. It hit a 10 on the Richter scale. So we continue watching it, and the ESU team brings in the Cats, which is basically a little mobile missile launcher with a nice little sliding glass door, fiberglass
Mhm.
door, and they bomb the shit out of it after he tells her, "I love you," and he, explains to her, "I've never slept in a bed. I've never cared for anybody, not since I had a young man, since I was a young boy." He confessed to her. He's like, "You've given me reasons to live.
Yep.
Oh, by the way, here's your escape. Get out." And he pushes her knuckles up and over the plasterboard, and she leaves. And then he
And
turns
yeah,
around.
I started to cry in the part where he's got her in the hole and he's about to trying to let go of her, and she says, "No, I'm not leaving," because she goes, "I know you can't go with me because there's not you're not gonna fit in this
I can
hole."
barely fit.
Yeah, and she realized that he's not coming, that he's
Yeah,
gonna die in this place, and she doesn't wanna leave. But you could she grew up a lot in that one scene because uh, reality set in. It wasn't fantasy anymore, pretending or whatever that a little girl would pretend, because now she was forced reality that she's gonna be alone again. That she already lost her brother, she lost her parents and her sister, and now she was going to lose him. And they just got bonded, and they were just starting their own family, basically, as daughter and father. And now she's gonna be alone all over again. And that scene was just really, really sad to me. I mean, I wasn't bawling my eyes up, but I had tears running down my face because I really felt for her character, knowing that as soon as he let go of her, that she wasn't going to see him again. At least in her imagination, that's what she knew, that she wasn't going to see him again.
now part of this movie, according to Maywin Lebosco, the hot girl that was at the start of the film and
Mhm.
she played the singer in Fifth Element, Part of this is
Yeah.
based on a romantic relationship with writer-director Luc Besson. Not like gunplay, but they did a lot of this with her growing up through her teenage years.
Mhm.
She met Besson when she was 11, and he fell in love with her, or she had fallen in love with him when she's 15 years old, and he's 32 at the time.
Mhm.
So casting her as an 18-year-old sex pot is pretty much okay. Hey, you waited. Thanks.
Well, she was 18.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people were, like, grossed out way back when, Anna Nicole Smith was with that little old man.
Yes.
I can't remember what his name was, but I remember people were griping and complaining about it, and I was like, "Why? She's a beautiful woman, she's a grown woman, he's rich, and he wants to dote on her, and he adores her." I mean, look at the way he looks at her, he just looks at her like she's a goddess, and she's good to him. She reads him stories, and she talks to him, and she treats him like a grown man, not a piece of feeble meat like his family was treating him, when they were in court. I watched some of the thing in court, and I just thought it was terrible how terrible the children treated him, and, I just thought it was, I thought it was terrible how they treated her because this guy was in love with her. Now I recognize her there. That's a terrible wig, but I recognize her face now as the woman from, the diva
Yep.
in The Fifth Element.
Which is
Yeah, she
funny
was
because
excellent at that part. I loved her as the diva.
she's in this movie and that movie too because they had a torrid or fun romance. But throughout,
Did they end up getting married? 'Cause
no,
she's
no,
pretty.
she's gorgeous, but no, that didn't happen. What happened is that this movie was created as filler while he was waiting to get Bruce Willis for The Fifth Element,
Mhm.
and he starts taking it seriously, and he's doing everything he can to just focus on his script because he starts really seeing himself and Mai Lin in it. And he wrote the script in 30 days, and they started filming in 90. They filmed the
Wow.
entire movie within 3 month time frame
Mhm.
on a
That was a
$60
good movie.
million budget.
Yeah. That was a really good movie too.
Well, everybody was thinking at first that Fifth Element was going to be his crowning feature, but in the long run, The Professional is long sought. It's far superior by a lot of people's opinions. It
Mhm.
comes out a lot higher on the lists.
Well, it was 2 totally different types of movies to me. I mean,
It is
the Professional wasn't anything to do with comic,
no,
comedy type stuff, and
no,
to me, The Fifth Element, most of it was half comedy, you know what I mean? So, to me, you can't even put them side by side because they're not even compatible as the type of movies they are for that type of thing. So,
yeah. I agree. They're not really compatible movies. One he saw was like his Star Wars because
mhm.
Besson he was growing up and he was like woke up one day in the 90s. I'm a director. I'm going to make my version of Valerian,
Yeah.
and he does the Fifth Element, which it's got a lot of Valerian, the city of a thousand planets, in it. And if you guys know what I'm talking about, Valerian is along with Metropolis, Flash Gordon, Buck Rogers. Valerian is one of the four big resources that George Lucas used for Star Wars.
Mhm.
And so Besson is trying to do this. He couldn't get the Valerian stuff secured, so he made his own property, which was pretty good. I do like The Fifth Element. It's not my favorite movie, but it's good.
Mhm.
Hey, George Lucas is here. I love this man.
Hello, George.
So, and also I want to say hello to Biggest Geekus. Joe and Randy are two fun guys. They'll be on tomorrow night on their stream. If you guys are into I got to take a break for a second. If you're
Mhm.
into RPG stuff and you're upset that it's getting too political, stop. Take a breath. Bruce is going to show you this wonderful new place, and they're getting new people signed up every day to. Wow. Yesterday, they only had 18 products total. They're running a politics free game store. All of this is PDF material. So, this is the Big Geek Emporium. Let me get this. They were talking about this just like maybe a month and a half ago. Within a 6-week period, this is up. And I can't wait to start using this. I can't wait for payday. I know. I'm simping for Biggest Geekus and Big Geek Emporium. All right. This right here. I didn't even share it right. Boomer. Oh, that's so cool. Are you using OBS?
Me on my computer? You talking to me? Yes. I had to buy that. When I bought this computer, I wanted to make sure I had everything so I could upgrade and use different things on it. You know, have 2 or 3 open screens at one time, that kind of stuff. And I'm trying to learn how to use all this. Who knows what I might be able to do one day.
You're going to be 3 years from now. She's going to be reading Facebook, playing her Texas poker.
Texas Hold'em.
And she's going to be having something else going on over here. Maybe this is a camera feed from outside. I can see her at the command console. Thank you, Grumpy, for bumping that out. That's awesome. Yeah, Joe likes the effects you have there.
Thank
Even though you
you.
don't like the sparkles, he likes those.
Time to play. Have fun.
So the end of the film happens, and it is a tearjerker. And she makes her way back to the home for troubled kids.
Well, before that part, once the explosion happened, you know, and they came into the place and everything, and I thought it was over for him. But then when they're carrying the guy out with the mask on, the police officer, because they had so many of them, and all I'm thinking is we're seeing it through his eyes, right? When they're carrying him out, thinking he's an injured person, which I thought was great because I'm clapping like, yes, he's getting out, and they're carrying him out. You know, I was so excited about it. So that scene to me I really enjoyed it because I was really getting pumped up over it. And the fact that he's being led down through all these corridors, and there's 100 people there, all for him. You know what I mean? So it was almost like the Academy Awards of Hitman times or whatever, you know. So I'm applauding and excited for him because she's free, she escaped, and he knows it, and now we know he's alive. Okay. And so they're going to get to end up being, you know, pals again and be friends and be able to, you know, she's going to get to grow up and have someone take care of her. And I was excited about it. And then, just like I said, that one scene when you were talking about the scene about him playing the piano and the creepy part of it. And then all of a sudden you see him pop up when you see him walking towards the exit. He's going to get away, and everybody just let him walk out. And then all of a sudden, who's standing there? I just got this creepy, my skin crawl sensation when he pops up, because I know it's like, oh, it's not over. So then I'm like let down, and then he's laying on the ground looking up, and Gary Oldman's over him. And then when he had his hand like that and he said, "This is from Matilda," and he hands it to him, I knew what it was before he gave it to him, because 2 or 3 flash scenes that were very short when he was taking off his vest and it had all the little grenades on it. I was like, "Oh, he's gonna blow the shit out of this guy."
There's another scene in the second act of the movie you did not see, but he pulls a grenade and throws it in, and he shows her the ring pull.
Yeah,
So
see, I didn't see that in this version, but
I,
I knew what it was
yeah,
because, I knew he was dying, okay, and the only way he was gonna be able to take this guy out was to blow the shit out of him, because he had a whole vest covered with them.
yes,
So I knew it was gonna be freaking big, and I was so pumped up and cheering. I was just, you know, like I said about Tombstone last week about seeing Ike Clanton get the bite the big one, and I never got to see it because he was a pussy and he took his sash off at the end and got away. So we didn't get to get that closure. Okay, but in this movie, you definitely get your closure for that. To see the bad guy get what he deserved because the guy was dying anyways. He was already dying.
yeah.
And he knew that he did it for Matilda, and he said that when he handed him the ring. Yeah, this part.
Oh shit.
Yep.
Shit.
Awesome scene, man. That was so good. So good.
I think that's my favorite explosion in the entirety of the movies I've ever watched.
It was so awesome. And it wasn't just the explosion, it was the fact of you knew who was getting blown up.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? You're filled with joy. I mean, it sounds terrible,
there's no
but
reflex
you can't
though.
help it. You want to see this guy get what he deserves. The sad fact is that Matilda wasn't standing there watching it. You know, I wish she could have seen him get what he deserved, but we did. We got to enjoy it because it was nice. Though I like it. I like a movie when it ends where the bad guy gets what he deserves at the end. You don't get to see that very often. Just like in Tombstone, a lot of them paid, but the one guy that I wanted to see get what he deserved didn't. So
Yeah,
Ringo got it, but that part was really good. But Ike Clanton didn't get what he deserved. But this guy did get what he deserved in the end.
if
They
you
boy, they cleaned house. Leon cleaned so many bad guys out of that city. In that last part where all those people that he took out, you know, right at the very beginning when they were coming there to blow, he's like, "What the hell's going on up there?" Because, all these guys to get rid of one guy, I thought it was good. Leon got to go out the way he wanted to go out. Being a hitman. That was his life choice. He got to save the girl, die manly, and take out the badass all in one swoop. So, what more could you ask for an ending of a movie? And you knew she was taken care of, even though the guy was a total turd.
yeah,
Um, but
Tony didn't really appreciate being stuck with giving her a monthly allowance after that.
but he did it.
Yep, he
Okay,
still held
so
true.
that showed us too that he cared about Leon. He cared enough for Leon to carry out his wishes when he asked him to. So it wasn't exactly what Leon wanted, but she's a kid. You can't just hand her a big sack of cash. You know what I
No,
mean? So that was the kind of ending I think you had to have for that because she's still going to live in the streets. She's going to have to take care of herself, but she's going to be fed and have money to take care of herself until she's old enough to be able to do things for herself more maturely. But for this movie, I thought it was a really good ending for the situation.
just don't look too closely at the plant that she puts in the ground. That's all I have to ask. The plant she puts in the ground will die in the winter.
Yeah, I know.
Okay,
The plant that she had was pretty much not even the same plant because it was different sizes almost in each scene it was in. But it was fine. It was the whole
The idea.
idea of him taking care of it. So he was taking care of something. He wanted to take care of something, and he ended up getting a real person to take care of. So to me, that was his whole character arc, and he went full circle. She matured. She went from uh, here and then went to here, stopped, and then went to here, and that's when she messed up by telling everybody, "Yeah, we're lovers," or whatever, and then she went back down a little bit, and then went back up again, you know what I mean? So she was adjusting in her character as it grew, as she grew, but the scene where she realizes he's gonna die and she grew up, that was her character arc. It went full circle for her too, but it went back and forth as her character development for me in the movie because, uh, hormones kept getting in the way of a young woman, that was growing up.
Yeah. Okay. Man of War, appreciate you being here. Hey, thank you so much for helping me get to 1,000 subscribers. That's awesome. All of you guys really, it's none of my doing. You guys sticking around after you found out how much of a prick I can be. You guys deserve more than I do. Trust me.
Oh, yeah,
But
I posted that congratulations on your little thing that you had on YouTube. That's great because you weren't there this morning when I went and looked. At least I didn't see it. You had 900 and you were really close, but you weren't there. You had like 6, you needed 6 more, 4 or 6 more.
we
And then
did
you did.
6 within one day.
Yeah, that's good. Congratulations.
Thank you, Shadow. The other part about this movie, don't look at the trivia part on IMDb because they talk about an original script for the movie, and they got some Disney shit there. Don't read it.
So what do you mean?
They have sex.
Oh, in the original?
The original script,
Oh.
when he didn't have an idea set in his head yet.
Oh, before he changed it for the movie?
Yeah,
Oh,
his
okay.
original idea was that like she was going to just totally
Yeah, but
manipulate him, and he was completely unable to resist her because he's
yeah, well, the thing is that, this was written in another country, right? Wasn't an American script. And France, they think differently than we do. I
very
mean, you gotta remember this too. I was shocked when I found out, but, they had, over in Europe, they have the naked news.
yeah.
Okay, so nudity and a lot of things that we would think is, "Whoa," way over the top, isn't over there. So, it's totally different cultures. I'm not saying it's right, because it isn't for me, but I don't live there. Just like, other countries think that a girl can be betrothed at 9 years old. That's just the way they are in those other countries. That doesn't mean, we would do it. I wouldn't agree with it, but, I don't live there. So, there was a movie that came out, um yeah, I'm the same as I'm even with him.
Took me 3 years pushing hard and doing stuff like this, being on panels.
Mhm.
So
That's good.
yeah, it's possible.
That's what I said, is you just gotta, find your niche and keep doing it, but as long as to me, I think it's important if you just can try to do what you enjoy doing. Keep doing what you enjoy doing, and it will come your way. You just gotta just be yourself. Be you.
Yeah, that's the goal here. I don't want to have to alter everything I'm doing here yet. What I do want to say is This movie has had a lot of people throw it up on their best movies of all time lists. It's
Mhm.
been continuously looked at as a movie that came out. It was successful when it came out because they made $60 million whenever it was on its first run through theaters,
Mhm.
and
And
then when
was that one on its European release before it came to
Europe,
America?
about the same time because it was like
Mhm.
November, December of '94, and I
Yeah.
saw it in January of '95. So that was about the right time because they have it in the main theaters for about 3 weeks, and then it goes to Dollar Cinema in Corpus Christi. So we went and we saw that there,
Mhm.
and that was pretty. That was like the most packed I've ever seen that theater. From what I heard, that's how it was there for a few days because people were going to go see it and are like, "This is how movies should be made. This is a well put together, stylish film." Would I would say that if you guys are going to ask me which version do I prefer, I I'm a filthy American. Give me the sanitized. There's no misunderstandings. There's no Roman Polanski bullshit. I don't want to see a 45-year-old guy with a 12-year-old girl in a restaurant where she's trying to climb up on him. Kiss me, and that's what she does in the European version. He's like, stop it. Everybody's looking at us. Stop it. Stop it.
Yeah, I thought it was, I was like, "Oh," like that when she said, "We're lovers," to the
Yeah,
one guy. But see, I was like, "Oh, no, he's in trouble now," because they call the cops. That's what I was thinking. But, I still didn't look at it as a perverted thing because I was thinking of her as a pubescent girl, it's like I was saying. So to
she's
me, it still wasn't perverted, but
she
it
didn't
was a,
have anybody to
"Oops,
guide her.
now, he's gotta pack his stuff and go down the street," because,
They had to do this three
and
times in
and
the
it was
movie.
yeah, and it was kinda cute in a way. The way they edited it, so to me, I didn't know there was another version, so, I thought it was good. I mean, I thought it was a very good movie. I mean, I'd recommend people to watch it. And I didn't take away from it that it was any kind of perversion in it at all. I mean, I just didn't see it that way whatsoever. So, and he was a man, and he was a fatherly figure to for the girl. That was it. That's how I saw it. So the editing must have done a really good editing job, and maybe that's why you said it was what 20 minutes they took out of the movie.
25.
Well, they took 25 minutes out to make it not seem European.
Yeah,
Made it
they
more American point of
they
view
made
of
it
it.
really good American movie.
But I wanted to ask a question. Do you know, whether or not that type of stuff would fly over in, like, China or places like that? Or would they have had to have the Americanized version of it there?
If it were released today, it'd have to have the Americanized version, from what I know, because China can't have stuff like that. Can't have a main black character. Can't have young kids and old adults doing stuff. No Disney Biden-esque things. You know what I mean? Can't be doing that. You gotta keep it sanitized. This
Well, 'cause
movie
I
might not even make it in China.
yeah, I was gonna say, because I know that there are some countries that look down on that type of thing, but I didn't see it that way at all in this version of it. For sure. I mean, I thought it was very well made. I thought the acting was very good. Um, the characters were believable. There was a couple scenes that I was kinda like, "What?" You know? I don't know, a couple scenes that kinda took me away from the characters for a few seconds because I was trying to figure out what was going on, or that I didn't think it fit or something like that, but it was very small, very subtle. But, overall, I thought it was a very, very good movie, very entertaining. Uh, it had me, like, you know, worried, and it had me excited, and had me happy, and made me cry too. So my emotions were definitely on the move basically through the whole movie. So, because I loved the characters, I thought the characters were good. So to me, that's what I look for in entertainment, something to take me away from my reality and put me somewhere else for 2 hours.
And for
And
2 hours and 10 minutes, this movie really holds you by the throat.
yes, I thought it
It
was
does a
very good.
good job of that.
But any movie to me can give you an escapism, something take you away from your bills and your pain in the butt life or whatever, and take you somewhere else for a little while is a good movie. I mean, I'm not saying it's the best movie ever, but any movie that can do that is doing what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to be entertainment. And we are in very bad shape right now when it comes to the entertainment industry. Finding movies that can take you away from it all. It's like, Calgon, take me away, and that's where I'm at. It's nice. I mean, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a very good movie. I thought you did a really good job picking this movie for me to get to watch. Now, I did remember seeing, trailers for it and stuff once I started watching it, because I recognized the little girl's haircut, and, Leon, his glasses and stuff. So, there were a couple scenes that I remember seeing, but I knew it wasn't because I saw the movie. It was because more than likely, I saw
The trailer.
posters and the trailers and stuff that had come out. And when the DVDs and stuff came out, they show trailers and stuff on the different channels, because my very first streaming service I ever got was Netflix, and they had the little DVDs that they'd mail to you, and then you put it in a little envelope and you'd send it back to them when you were done. So that was I thought that was genius. I thought I wish I'd invested in them then, because I thought, wow, they're gonna make money. So
True.
wish I'd done it, but I didn't.
So next week, what would you like us to watch?
This is the movie I want us to watch. Ta-da! The Expendables.
Part 1.
Yeah. The first
Okay.
because I went through a bunch of my movies and I got them all laid out for my 5 next movies that I'm gonna do, and I'm just picking out which one. So it was a toss up for them between this one and another one, but this one won out. So I think it'd be really fun to watch again.
That's like a feel good movie.
Hmm.
That really is. And I'm
It
looking
is.
forward to it.
I'm excited about it. I mean, and I love the cast of characters that are in this one. It's going to give us a lot of uh, stuff to dive into. I think it's manly.
Yeah.
And I love men, so there you go. But they're
Okay.
good. It's a good movie.
It's a
I
great
think it's
movie.
gonna be a really good movie. So, and it's gonna be a good one to review, I think, for the different aspects of the different characters that are in it and how they're all different and how they play off each other. I think it's gonna be really good.
Cool.
But thank you for suggesting this last movie, because I'm really glad I got to watch it. It's gave me a whole new perspective on Natalie Portman character, or her acting
Her
abilities.
acting ability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
She's
now
really good.
isn't she the one that was in V for Vendetta?
Yes.
Okay, I loved her in that movie, and I think that was the first movie that I remember watching her in it. I didn't even yeah, I don't even think because I hadn't seen this one. I think that was the very first movie I ever saw her in, and I thought she was phenomenal in that movie. Now, the one movie that all my friends were like, "Oh, it's so good, you gotta go see it," but I never did, was the one where she was a ballerina.
Black Swan.
Okay, never saw the movie. Okay, well, I never did see it. It just wasn't a movie after I saw the trailer, I was like, "Eh," it just didn't pull me in. It didn't make me wanna go buy a ticket for it. So I never did see it. But I loved her in V for Vendetta. I thought it was excellent movie.
I was dating a girl that was into ballet at the time, and when that movie started doing the trailer cycle and they hit like a heavy rotation, you couldn't get through a commercial break without watching a trailer of Black Swan.
Oh, really?
The girlfriend at the time was like, I don't like that movie. That movie looks like shit. They look like amateurs. They just were trained for this shit. They don't know the pain and suffering.
Well, a couple of my friends that liked it,
Yeah.
they were into, dancing, but it wasn't always ballet. They did like, I had a bunch of friends that were like, they did modern dance, and then some of them were doing tap dancing. Then there was a couple others that did, I don't even know what you would call what kind of dancing it was, but they were all into dancing and on, for theater and on stage.
Yeah.
So that's why they were excited about seeing it. And plus they loved Natalie Portman anyways. They thought she was a really good actress or whatever. But uh the first movie I saw her in that I thought she was really good in, I thought she was a really good actress, was V for Vendetta. So when I saw her in this, and and when you told me it was her very first movie, I was like, man, she's got some good acting chops. I mean, I don't know if her parents sent her to acting school or whatever, but it must have been really hard for her parents to know whether she was telling the truth or not when she got caught doing something, because she was really good at it, at pretending to be somebody she isn't, or making you believe something that she'd want you to believe. So there you go. You know,
Shadow will do Pulp Fiction after True Romance. Okay, True Romance first. I
is he like
whenever
Uma Thurman?
yeah, True
Because she
Romance
was great in
will be
Kill
second.
Bill. Kill Bill was a great movie. She was kick ass in that movie, I thought. You didn't like Kill Bill?
It's okay. It's not
Oh,
the
I love the fight scenes in that movie were freaking awesome.
they're stylized. They're good, but ugh,
But for that movie, that's the
yeah,
kind of fight you had to have. I mean,
yeah,
if
that's true.
you gotta put it in perspective. I just thought it was really good. Yeah, it was over the top, way over the top, but that's the kind of movie it was. You know what I mean? So that's like I said, some movies just have over the top scenes, but that is the movie it's supposed to, what was it? What was the name of that movie? With Rorschach in it. Remember?
Oh, you're talking about The Watchmen.
Yeah, The Watchmen. It was over the top, but it was phenomenal.
That's
Because
probably
that's what you need to have for The Watchmen.
yeah.
That's what made it what it was. So it just depends on the characters and the script and things like that, whether over the top it fits. You know what I mean? Because there's some movies that are meant to Blazing Saddles, the whole movie's over the top. But the movie was really good from what everybody said. I only
Wait,
saw certain
wait, wait,
scenes.
wait, 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 wait. You've never seen Blazing Saddles?
No, I told you that when we were talking about that one night, remember? I've never seen Blazing Saddles. But I love a lot of the actors that were in it, so we're gonna have to watch it. Remember I told you I'd like to do a live stream,
Yeah,
on Discord and watch a movie live, and I
that
said
sounds
that would
good.
be a perfect
We
movie
got
to
to do
watch
that.
because I haven't seen it, and, I think everyone would love it. I think it would be a great, fun movie night to do a
Yeah.
live stream on, Discord and watch a movie, and it would if that was one of the movies that I'd pick as an iconic movie. And I've seen some scenes, you know what I mean? Different little scenes from that movie with Gene Wilder and stuff. But like around the campfire and stuff, certain things like that.
Yes.
So I just think it would be really funny to watch. And then we can all pop some popcorn and sit around and watch them and talk about it while we're watching. I think it'd be fun. It'd be something that I've never seen anybody do it on YouTube.
We can't do it on YouTube, sadly. It pisses me off
Why not?
because they will hit us for copyright. We can do it on Discord.
No, you don't show the movie. We
No.
watch it on Discord. We talk about it and
Oh,
stream it live on YouTube. Why can't you do that?
I
That's
think
perfectly legal.
the only thing we have to do is not let the audio bleed in. That's from the movie.
Well, I don't know how you get your technical people to figure out how you can do that and do
I'll
it.
queue them up.
I think it'd be awesome.
We will have
Something
to
that
do
hasn't
that.
been done, and you get to do both at the same time.
We have people ready to unsubscribe from you if you don't get this amended. We gotta have you see Blazing Saddles.
Yeah, I think it'd be funny to watch, especially if we could set it up to where um, I can hear other people laughing, almost like we're at a real movie theater type
Yes.
thing. I just think that environment would be great because we'll all be reacting to something all at once. one time because we're all watching it. I think it'd be really fun. And no, I haven't seen it before. People have laughed at me. I don't know how many times. My God, you're an idiot. You haven't seen that movie. But I haven't seen it yet.
That's strong. I wouldn't say you're an idiot, but
No, you know what I mean. I was just
yeah.
using it as an example. But yes, I definitely would like to watch it. But it would be more fun to get to watch it with other people, in a room full of people. And if some of the other people hadn't seen it yet, that might be good too. Have a few people that hadn't seen it.
Oh God, I can't wait.
It's going to be fun. Just like I've already picked out, see my filter now? I've picked out some really cool filters so that I can have a different filter every day or each week for the month of October, getting ready for Halloween while we watch scary movies. I'm really excited about it, or reviewing a scary movies. It's going to be fun because you did say we could do scary movies for the month of October, right?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Tommy is getting this water dunking device ready for you. This is high heresy.
I've done that before.
We're gonna put you in a dunk tank because you've not seen this movie.
Hey, I've been in a dunk tank before. Had 3 people throwing stuff at me. I didn't get dunked. Nobody dunked me. I just sat there and they threw baseballs at me all night to raise money. So it was for the Junior Chamber of Commerce. They wanted to see me get wet too, but I didn't.
I could completely be in a dunk tank. This summer is.
Have you ever done it before?
No, I haven't.
See, we could do something fun like that at one of the meet and greets.
Yeah.
You pick something. You what you'd have to do is you pick a charity, and then you'd go and find out who has one of the dunk tanks or whatever, and then you set it up, and then people pay money and to raise money for the charity, and do it all live stream while you're, the camera on you while people are paying money and throw balls at you.
It works.
And then what you do is the person that pays, you have a drawing, they all pay this much money to be in the drawing, and that person gets to just walk up and hit the little thing with a bat or something and actually get to dunk you in with the drawing, in case you haven't been dunked. That way you guaranteed to get dunked with the right amount of money. Then you can also do a little short or when you donate the money to your charity and put it on your channel too.
Well, next week we will watch The Expendables, and I'm going to see what we can do to get a live stream set up so we could have people pop in and watch their own version, preferably. If not, the high seas are out there. It's really easy to find it. It's an older movie. But I want to see The Expendables really bad.
Yeah, I have the DVD. I've already watched it, but quite a few times. But it's a good movie,
Sure.
And I think it'd be fun to talk about, not just having it fresh in our minds again, and get to talk about all the little great stuff that's in it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So it'd be good.
For those of you that are still here, for all 6 on one and a few others on the other channels, appreciate you guys being here on other affiliates. Me and Janet want to thank you, and I again want to thank my subscribers, my subscriber base. Whether you like me, hate me, whatever, I surely didn't think I was going to ever hit 1,000 subscribers. I really didn't. But I want to say thank you for getting me up here, and have some new goals to set. And like I was talking about it yesterday, everything changed for me last year at this time because I was in the hospital. I about died because of remdesivir. And once I got that out of my system, I'd been watching nothing but the internet. I had this phone in my hand the whole time. So everything I'm getting put in my body, I'm just reading about this shit. And listen to YouTube a lot. This kid named JJ, the Sith Lord. He's in like all these panels. Like, I've known this guy for a year or two. Known of him, talked to him directly a couple times. Nice guy. Now he's like everywhere. He's everywhere. For like 3 weeks I was in the hospital. Probably he was on 2 or 3 hours a day on my phone while I'm looking up stuff. God, I miss JJ too, dude. And it was really one of those moments where, like, if I get out of this crap, this guy, he doesn't have a subscriber base that big, but everybody loved him. And he was just like available for those people he made time for. Like, you could see the bond when they talk. They'd been in the trenches since 2017 because of fucking Kathleen Kennedy, and it was a bond forged by a shared love. And we all love Star Wars. And I said, this guy's got like more subscribers than I do by like 100 people, but he's really close with his guys. He's like super close. Like, and he doesn't have like a typical group. He was going around. He had like 6 or 7 groups of people he was with. And he did a lot of good things for people out there. He made time for the people he loved.
That's good.
I said, you know, I want to do what this guy's doing, because he was like hitting this serious pitch. His numbers were going up. Like, everybody was talking like he was the next one to hit 700. He only had like 300 people. The guy was small time, but he was like popular, and he was selected. People would pick him because he had a love for the lore. And I got out of the hospital September 3rd, and I said to him in just a brief chat, like, dude, I'm going to get better, and whatever you got going on, I think I know how I want to be to the people I care for, because you're showing that to people that you love. And we didn't really say much after that to each other. That was like October or September. But he was just getting out there all the time, and plans were made. I was supposed to be in some groups and see him again, because I was going to have my schedule change a bit. And then one night in November, he posted a coffee cup from a Waffle House, and I get a Discord message from Makini, my Sunday streamer. Really good guy. And JJ had passed. Just, what the fuck? And this guy, like, the fellowship, like, you were hearing big people talk about it. There's a lot of little tributes out there to him, big tributes out there to him. There's people that, like Tommy, to this day, like, this doesn't really, like, we are expecting to have him come across our feed and be like, hey guys, and it just doesn't really feel like he's out. It's been about 10 months, 11 months, and he showed a lot of people how to care and how to try to respect the people that like you and are wanting to select you as the viewer that they do today. How to give your audience respect. And I wouldn't have done that. Within a year's time, we can see that what lessons I was able to grab from this guy. And he's got a lot of YouTube out there. Tommy, are you still here in chat? Yeah. Tommy, if you could do me a favor, just give me his link, or fuck it, I'll grab Tommy's link here, because this, it's just like the dude he said he's a saint, and he was. I mean, he put up with not just you, all of us, and he didn't have like one person he always would be with. The guy would travel, he networked, but he really, every conversation with JJ left to one place. It would lead to one place. It always goes back to Star Wars, how it should be, the expanded universe. And he did like the prequels. He did like, thank you. He did like the prequels. He did love the original trilogy. But this guy right here, I really hope that he's on assignment. He's able to relax and watch us down here and see us struggle and triumph and do all these crazy, stupid human tricks. Really appreciate all you guys here. Listen to me blabber for the past 4 minutes, but I'm not a product of success. I listened when I could, and I hope I do you guys well. JJ, I appreciate you, brother. Good night, everybody.
Good night.